Hello everyone, I am Tessellating Hexagons, and just when I thought it was safe to relax and rest up and prepare for this week's Super Saturday, not one but two countries in rapid succession both revealed their songs for this year's Eurovision, the first of which being the Netherlands. I mean, I knew to expect these songs fairly soon, the other country especially, but this has come out of nowhere and I wanted to relax, and now here I am reviewing another song, but I'm not going to complain for reasons you will see in due course, apart from the fact that obviously it's another Eurovision song, and Eurovision is yay. So, we've known for a while that the Netherlands was going to be sending Willem Bijkerk. You might recognise him better as Waylon from the Common Linnets, who represented his country in 2014 and came second. This time he's back by himself with the song Outlaw In Em, which I would prefer just Outlaw, that would roll off the tongue a bit better, but what do I know, he's the successful country singer. Music and lyrics just by Waylon himself, as far as we know. The exact specifics of who wrote the song and who composed the lyrics and all of that hasn't really been released, so as far as I know it is just a one-man job and just Waylon did it all. Anyway, the song's completely in English, and as I said, I feel as though Outlaw In Em is a bit of an awkward title because it's a bit awkward to say, and it also looks like it was supposed to say Outlaw In Me and it's just been typoed, but it's not. It is Outlaw In Em, as you can quite clearly hear when you listen to the song. So, speaking of listening to the song, what are my first thoughts for this one then? Okay, I'll be brutally honest, I really wasn't expecting to like this one. I haven't really been following the Common Linnets since 2014, but hell, I don't actually even remember reviewing Calm After the Storm, even though I did, if that can even be called a review. Please, save the effort, don't bother looking it up, it's really not worth your time. So, yeah, I haven't really been following Ilse or Waylon ever since they took part in the 2014 contest, apart from when they briefly showed up in Germany's national final in 2016. Other than that, not really been following what they've been up to. So, in truth, while I've always respected the artistic merit of Calm After the Storm, especially its stage and composition, that was a masterwork, but still, I never especially enjoyed the song, so any enjoyment I got out of any other aspect of it was still somewhat limited because I didn't really enjoy the song. It's not that I didn't get it, I just didn't enjoy it, which is fair enough. That being the case, I was really worried that the Netherlands might just have gone down the route of just cheaply selecting an artist who did well before, based on the assumption that their name alone would be enough to see them through to a respectable result this time again, but you know what? I dare say this is actually the Netherlands' best entry since 2013. It isn't a cheap scapegoat just based on a familiar name. They have actually chosen an artist based on his merit, not just his history, which is good and respectable. And saying it's the best entry since 2013, some people will say since 2014, but as I said, I wasn't a fan of that song. Either way, that's saying something. You know, in my opinion, Anouk's entry in 2013 was bloody brilliant. Some people really like, well, a lot of people really liked Calm After the Storm, obviously, because it came second, but anyway, instead of rambling about the past, let's look at the specifics of the present. What makes this song so special? Right, there are a couple of songs this year that tick this box, first of all, and Waylon is absolutely bringing the Netherlands right up into that list. This song has a strong, commanding opening that really grabs your attention and holds it there, and unlike other songs, though I admit I don't actually have any examples readily in mind here, that force, that identity, that cogent presentation is present throughout the entire song. It never really slackens or weakens. It doesn't get lost in its own sound. It's always there. It doesn't try to be something that it isn't, if that makes any sense, and I applaud that. Of course, a critical component of why that works here is that the song builds up and shows distinct progress in both lyrics and instrumentation. That is to say, for example, the second refrain isn't just a copy and paste job of the first, it feels more built up than the first go around. Similarly, the final refrain is extended but has new and different lyrics rather than just being a repetition of the first refrain or the first refrain repeated multiple times just to fill time. That summarises it, really. This song could be repetitive, but it just isn't. It's unique, even from itself, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And while we're talking about the refrain as well, between its melody and its beat and its syllabic intonation, it's just really satisfying in a way that I can't really describe. And that delivery makes it all the more credible as a means of conveying the song's message, which in itself is enjoyable and uplifting. This idea that everyone's got a little outlaw in them, this idea that everyone has something that they believe in with such conviction that they'd happily fight for it and defend it and such like, even if that urge to fight comes more readily to some people than others. It's a different idea, it's encouraging, and it's a delight to listen to. Some people will start a fight with you if you say that you don't like a certain genre of song. Other people will be mildly offended but won't try to punch you, but they will still defend it on the inside. It's a really unusual concept, and Just well done for putting it so succinctly into lyrics. Well, I'm impressed anyway, at any rate, but you might not feel the same way, and that's completely fine. So let's look at why that might be. Why might you not be quite so fond of this song? Well, broadly speaking, you might just not like the genre for whatever reason. Maybe you're of the opinion that guitars are the devil's instrument for some reason. Maybe you don't like it because it's not bubblegum pop schlager and therefore doesn't belong in Eurovision. Or maybe you have a more sensible reason, like just not personally connecting with the stories typically told in country music. Or maybe you aren't especially fond of how the instruments sound, or the typical song or chord progression, or that sort of thing, the structure. Maybe you're not a fan of that, that's fine. And if that's how you feel, that can't really be helped, though to the song's credit, it is one of Waylon's strongest genres, if not his strongest genre, so for country rock, you could do a lot worse than this song. But if you don't like it, you don't like it, and that's fine. Still, as a product of the genre and of the genre's history, you might feel that Waylon's accent in this song is a little bit forced, or maybe even really forced. You might just find it to be plain unnecessary, or like it's trying to pander to the American music scene without truly representing the Netherlands, because of course this is supposed to represent the Netherlands in some shape or form. I don't feel that way personally. I don't feel as though it's alienating me so that it can appeal to people who aren't taking part in the contest or whatever. It doesn't feel to me like it's trying too hard to be something it's not, but some people might, and I do see where they're coming from. There is a fair amount of effort, let's say, put into his accent in this song to mesh with the authenticity of everything else about it. And also, well, the official release on Eurovision.tv does take a fair while to come to an end. Like, it feels as though the song finishes what it sets out to do, and then just sort of hangs around for an extra 30 seconds just before it actually finishes being done. But that is the full version of the song, which you're most likely only going to listen to if you like the song anyway. The Eurovision cut is already available on Spotify at the moment, and that's well within the 3-minute requirement for Eurovision. So if I had to guess, that probably addresses exactly this. That probably cuts out the protracted ending. I hope it does anyway. It would be foolish to cut out the extended final refrain just to keep that ending in, because yeah, it's an interesting guitar solo, but it really does take its sweet time to finish, so if you're not into the song, you won't enjoy the ending. However, hopefully that won't be present in the Eurovision cut. It'll just be a succinct summary of what the song wants to present itself as. And if that's the case, then this isn't really a problem. Okay, so ratings. I really wasn't expecting to like this one at all, never mind anywhere near as much as I do, like I already said, but Waylon really has taken me by surprise. And his reward for that is a personal score of 10. Yeah, I'm going there. This is a song I can really get into and enjoy. I appreciate the message, I appreciate the delivery, and I truly can't find anything in there that qualifies as a fault as far as my personal tastes are concerned. Yeah, the song's not for everyone, but that's one of its strengths, really, in a strange sort of way. It sounds genuine. It sounds like a song that Waylon would have written anyway, whether Eurovision was involved or not. It's not just there to pander to Americans, or country music fans, or anything like that. It's a genuine piece of his soul, with a message that he genuinely believes in, as he said in an interview, and I really respect that. Now, as for what to do with his technical score, I honestly do want to find something to pull him up on so it doesn't look like I'm being incredibly biased, but no, I'll give him a technical 10 as well. Of course, I don't think this song is the most perfect thing in all of space and time, heavens no. If you don't like the song, that's fine, that's your opinion and that's okay. But the problems that I find in it, as far as technical aspects are concerned, are all entirely either things that will vary with subjective tastes, or things that can and will be fixed in time for Lisbon. So, you know, it's too long, oh, they've got a trimmed version already prepared. His accent seems forced, that's up to you depending on how you feel about this genre. After all, his accent doesn't break at any point, you wouldn't even know he was Dutch if you just listened to this song and knew nothing else about him. So, you don't have to like the song by any means at all, but I do want to recognise that this song does get a hell of a lot right, so bloody good show, Netherlands. So with all of that out in the open, would I call this song a good move for his country? Realistically, I think this is yet another example of a country already being in the right place and maintaining that high standard. Granted, Waylon's song leaves much more of an impact than O'Gene's, or so I feel anyway, you might not agree, but both of them, and Douwe Bob, and just most of the recent Dutch artists are all really competent acts with really competent skill sets. Waylon is a talented, specialised country performer. O'Gene have some of the most flawless live harmonies in all of Europe, and so on. The Netherlands have just realised in the last few years that they've got a lot of local talent, and they aren't afraid to use it. You might say that Waylon teasing the 5 songs that his entry could have been and then picking one could be a good move because it gets hype built up. Tastes will vary because it's structured like a national final without the national final element, and I don't know, there was equal teasing with O'Gene when they were first chosen because, oh, you've heard of us and look at how talented we are. Admittedly, they didn't tease any songs, but I would still say it's a neutral move overall, just because they're already in a good place. The Netherlands are sort of slowly turning into this Eurovision powerhouse. Like, keep an eye on them. They are a bit of a dark horse at the moment, which really should give an indicator about how I feel about whether this one will qualify. Can we expect to see Waylon in the final? Based on the Netherlands' track record of late, I'd say it's as good as guaranteed. Not absolutely guaranteed, mind you, but as good as. But yeah, this is Eurovision and literally anything can happen. But in realistic terms, I foresee this easily making the connection it needs to on the night, catching viewers with its energy and self-belief, as well as its compelling and empowering message, and I think the juries will see the genuineness of this song's composition and the power of his delivery, and I think it will stand out because, okay, we do have a couple of songs of alternative genres this year. We have Albanian rock, we have Romania doing something similar, we have, obviously, metal from Hungary. Some people argue that it's not metal, I'm not going to get into the semantics of that, but still, it's different again, and they will all stand out as a consequence. So it may not have the debatably pretentious artistic merit of Calm After the Storm, but it more than makes up for that in its broader appeal. I predict a top 10 finish in the final for this one, maybe top 15 if things are particularly unlucky. We'll have to see what happens, but for the moment, I have been and will continue to be Tessellating Hexagons, and I am really looking forward to seeing what happens with the Netherlands this year, so Waylon and the entire Dutch delegation, I say good luck to you, and we'll see what happens when you get to Lisbon.